Hello everyone, my name is Adil and welcome to my channel. I am an education data analyst based in India with over 6 years of experience. In this video, I am going to walk you through a complete project that I built from scratch, a school enrollment and registration management system designed specifically for UAE schools operating under ADEK regulations. This project covers everything a registrar handles on a daily basis: student applications, document compliance, waitlist management, and executive reporting. I will also explain every formula and logic I used so you can understand exactly how it works. Let us get started. Before we dive in, let me give you a quick overview of how this file is structured. There are four main working sheets and one hidden backend sheet. The application tracker is the core database of all students. The ADEK compliance sheet tracks document verification for each student. The waitlist manager handles all waitlisted students, and the enrollment dashboard brings everything together into a live visual report for senior leadership. There is also a hidden backend datasheet that stores all the pivot tables. I will explain why I did that when we reach the dashboard section. This is the application tracker, the heart of the entire system. It holds 150 student records covering the complete enrollment journey from first enquiry to final enrollment. Let me start with the student ID column. The formula here is, let me break this down. AUH stands for Abu Dhabi UAE. This is how real ADEK schools prefix their student codes. 2026 is the academic year. The ampersand joins text together in Excel. The text function converts the row number into a 3-digit format. So row 2 becomes 001, row 3 becomes 002, and so on. Row -1 is used because row 1 is our header, so we subtract 1 to start counting from 001. The result is clean, sequential IDs, exactly the format used in the eSIS student information system in schools. Now let me explain the days in pipeline formula. This is an if formula with nested conditions inside. The outermost if checks is the application date in column J empty. If yes, it returns blank because we cannot calculate days if there is no start date. If the application date exists, the next condition check is the student's status enrolled, and is there an enrollment date, and is the enrollment date greater than or equal to the application date. If all three of these are true, it calculates enrollment date minus application date, giving us the exact number of days the enrollment process took from start to finish. If the student is not yet enrolled, the formula moves to the next condition. If the status is not withdrawn or rejected, it calculates today's date minus the application date using the today function. Wrapped in max with 0. This is very important. It prevents any negative numbers from appearing if dates were entered incorrectly. Negative days in a pipeline report would be a data error and would look unprofessional. So max of 0 and calculation means the minimum value this column can ever show is 0. The priority flag formula is a nested if statement with 5 conditions evaluated in order. Excel reads this left to right and stops at the first condition that is true. The first check is the status enrolled? If yes, show done. Second check is the status waitlisted? If yes, show waitlisted. Third check is the status withdrawn? If yes, show withdrawn. Fourth check is the status rejected. If yes, show rejected. Fifth and final check is the days in pipeline value greater than 30 and the student is not enrolled, withdrawn or rejected. If yes, this means the student has been stuck in the pipeline for over a month without progressing. Show overdue. If none of these conditions are true, the student is simply active. The logic behind this is that 30 days is the standard maximum time a UAE school should take to process an application from inquiry to offer. Anything beyond that needs immediate attention from the registrar. This sheet is built around the actual document requirements set by ADEK, the Abu Dhabi Department of Education and Knowledge. Before any student can be registered in the eSIS system, the school must verify 9 specific documents. These are passport copy, birth certificate, Emirates ID, visa copy, medical fitness certificate, previous school transfer certificate, passport photo, parent ID copy, and fee receipt. Each document is tracked individually for every student. The documents submitted formula uses COUNTIF. It takes two arguments, a range and a criteria. The range is D2 to L2, which covers all 9 document columns. The criteria is the text submitted in quotes. So this formula simply counts how many of the 9 document cells contain the word submitted. If 7 cells say submitted, this returns 7. Simple but very powerful when applied across 150 students. The document required formula uses two countifs added together. The first counts cells containing submitted, the second counts cells containing pending. We add them together because not required documents should not count toward the total. A student who does not need a transfer certificate because they are a new student should not be penalized for not having it. So required equals submitted plus pending only. This gives an accurate denominator for the completion percentage. The calculation percentage formula has an if guard at the start. If N2 equals 0, meaning no documents are required at all, show blank instead of calculating. This prevents a division by 0 error which would crash the formula. If documents are required, divide M2 by N2. The cell is then formatted as a percentage, so 0.78 displays at 78%. This percentage is what derives the compliance status classification. The compliance status formula is another nested if with 5 tiers. First, if N2 is 0, meaning no document required. Second, if the completion percentage equals 1, meaning 100%, show fully compliant. This student is ready for eSIS registration. Third, if the percentage is greater than or equal to 0.8, meaning 80% or above, show nearly complete. 1 or 2 documents are missing. A single parent call can resolve this. Fourth, if the percentage is greater than or equal to 0.5, meaning 50% or above, show in progress. Fifth, if none of the above meaning 50%, show urgent action. More than half the documents are missing and this student cannot be registered in eSIS until resolved. The reason I choose 80% as the nearly completion threshold is that with 9 documents, 80% means 7 out of 9 are submitted, which in a real school typically means only the transfer certificate or medical fitness certificate is pending, both of which take time from external sources. The follow-up date formula first checks if the student is already fully compliant. If yes, it returns blank because no follow-up is needed. If the student is not compliant, it takes the application date from the application tracker sheet and adds 14 days. 14 days is the standard follow-up window used in schools. It gives parents enough time to gather documents without letting cases go cold. This means the registrar never has to manually calculate follow-up dates for 150 students. The system generates them all automatically. The waitlist manager handles all 18 students who were not offered immediate enrollment either because their assessment score was below the threshold or because the relevant grade was at capacity. The priority score is the most important formula on this sheet. It is weighted scoring formula that combines three real factors to rank waitlisted students fairly and transparently. The first factor is days on waitlist multiplied by 0.5. This carries 50% of the total weight because students who have been waiting longest deserve priority. The second factor is assessment score multiplied by 0.3. This carries 30% of the weight because academic readiness still matters even on the waitlist. The third factor is 2 bonus points, 10 points if the parent has confirmed interest and 20 points if a seat is actually available. The student with the highest total score sits at position 1 on the waitlist and gets the first available seat offer. This scoring system makes the waitlist defensible. If a parent asks why their child is at position 4 instead of position 1, the registrar can show them the exact calculation. Transparency in waitlist management is the key ADEK expectation. The waitlist status formula evaluates two conditions simultaneously for the most urgent case first. If a seat is available and the parent has confirmed interest, show offer ready. This is the highest priority action. Call this parent today and convert them to enrolled. Next, if a seat is available but parent confirmation is pending, show seat available, contact parent. Next, if the student has been waiting more than 120 days, show long wait, follow up. 120 days is approximately one school term, after which ADEK expects schools to communicate proactively with waitlisted families. Next is the parent response is considering other schools, show at risk of losing. This flags families who may be drifting toward competitor schools and need a personal call from the principal or head of admissions. All remaining cases show active wait. This is the executive dashboard designed for the principal and head of enrollments. Everything on this screen is live. No numbers are typed manually. Let me walk through the KPI boxes at the top. Total applications uses Count A on the student ID column. Count A counts all non-empty cells, so it automatically includes every student record regardless of status. Total enrolled uses Count If. With the criteria enrolled, it counts only rows where the status column says enrolled. Conversion rate divides the enrolled count by total applications and formats it as a percentage using the text function. This tells leadership what percentage of enquiries are converting to actual enrollments, a critical KPI for any school's commercial health. Average days to enroll uses average if it only averages the days in pipeline column for rows where the status is enrolled, giving leadership a clean measure of process efficiency. The two slicers, curriculum and emirate, are connected to three pivot tables simultaneously using report connections. When I click British ADEK here, every connected chart recalculates instantly. This works because all three pivot tables share the same data source, the application data table. The ADEK compliance chart is built separately from a manual summary table because it pulls from a different data source, and I kept it independent so it always shows the complete compliance picture regardless of what curriculum filter is applied. I want to show you something important about professional dashboard design. All four pivot tables are stored on this hidden backend datasheet, not on the dashboard itself. The reason is that pivot tables resize when filters are applied. They add or remove rows depending on what data matches. If the pivot tables were sitting on the dashboard, they would push charts and KPI boxes around every time someone clicked a slicer. By hiding them on a separate sheet, the dashboard layout stays completely stable. This is standard practice in professional Excel dashboard development. So that is the complete enrollment and registration management system. The project files are linked in the description. You can download the complete Excel file and explore it yourself. If you have any questions about the formulas or the logic behind any part of this system, drop them in the comments below and I will reply. Thank you for watching. Please like this video if you found it useful and subscribe for my next project, which will be an examination management and results dashboard built in Power BI. See you in the next one.